Hello, world. This is Daniel. On my first official broadcast, today I will be discussing trust issues. Now, trust issues. I was going around in my mind trying to think about what issue I should discuss first. This one came up. Reason why? It seems to be one of the biggest topics that I have conversations with my friends, my associates. I'll call my students or whatever, and it's always the same thing. How do I trust? How can I trust? How can I get to a place to where I trust? We're gonna discuss it now. Before I get into it, I have to give my disclaimer. My show is, again, my perspective. Some things are going to be opinion based. Some things will be factual. You can take it how you like, but I am here to help. And like I said before, some things may offend you. That's fine. It's all good. It's temporary. If you flow with it, I'm sure that you'll get something out of it too. And it should be beneficial. Now, in this game of love, we have two parties. We got your men and we got your women. I'm going to place emphasis on the women right now. Reason being, here's my reason. Reason being is because I feel like there are things that just need to be addressed right now with the women base. In the women arena, there's more of them, in a sense, that are seeking, and I guess I'll just go out there and say it, lacking in the area when it comes to love and relationships and how to get them, or maybe you got it down on how to get them, but then how to keep them. But in regards to this trust issue thing, this is a matter of just security, in a sense. So I'm gonna talk about it. I have several friends who have relationships. I have several friends, associates, students who have relationships, encounters, people they're talking to. That's the term now, talking or whatever. So put it out there plain. How do you trust? What builds trust? And how do you know that a person is not going to hurt you? I'm going to burst everybody's bubble. You ready for it? You don't. There is no guarantees. In life, there's no guarantees. In love, there's no guarantees. The only person that you can really control or be confident in, or really know, what to expect, is yourself. Now, with dealing with someone else, you have to always go into it with some basic wisdom. Basic wisdom, things like, you want to build trust with something, or build trust with something, whatever you guys seem to establish amongst each other. I would say time is your best bet. And of course, that's easy to say. Your mom's probably told you that. Your dad's probably told you that. Your teacher, your girlfriends, your homies, whoever has probably told you that. But what I don't think they have given you is a real outline on how much time. Because I'm sure someone is out there is thinking, well, Daniel, how much time? What is too much, or what's too soon? There's no blueprint from the standpoint of this is how much time you should give a person, watch a person, be involved with a person, to trust a person. Some of these things are going to be based on your own level of intellect, maturity, so on and so forth, experiences, so on. However, there are some surefire ways that I believe, my opinion again, that can help you to establish trust from a more consistent standpoint, and eliminate some of those doubts, and then eliminate some of those things that are missed in the courting, getting to know, talking time frame. So, for example, There was a time when I was a counselor at my church. I actually taught the teenagers, 13 through 19. That was my age group. And one of the things that I used to tell the young ladies when it came to this same issue, trust, was that when you're getting to know a young man and you're dating, your time frame should be a year. Now, I can't hear the reaction on the other side, but I'm assuming because I've seen it before. A year? Daniel? Are you crazy? That's a long time. A year? Ain't nobody got time for that. Or, just all those things. No one wants to waste their time. So on and so forth. So on and so forth. I probably heard every excuse in the book. But one thing that is different about my methods and someone else's methods is the fact that time is always going to be one of your most beneficial, acts. It's going to be one of your most beneficial tools, I'll say tools. Because anything that is going to be good is going to require time. Anything that's going to reap any kind of benefits is going to require time. I know that since we have the internet, we have this thing like this, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, all of them, social networks, that the world seems to create this facade or reality that you can build in microwave love, trust, relationships, solidarity in a limited amount of time. That's false. I'll go out there and be bold and say that's false. There are so many different examples that I can give you that show you evidently in the limelight, in the open, that microwavable relationships do not last, i.e. Hollywood. Hollywood got to be the most notorious industry for failed relationships. Why? Because people are not taking their time. Now, if you're a young lady, and young can be however you want to perceive it, if you're 50 and you want to say that's young, great. Hey, I'm not here to judge. But if you, are a fairly young lady, younger, however, whatever age you fall in, time is going to be your best friend. Time is going to give you things that nothing else can. We're dealing with a young man. Some of the things that you want to watch and pay attention to are habits, traits, consistency. And anything that requires trust requires you building a consistent reputation from it. I'll give you an example. Let's jump off of relationship trust for now. Just for a second. I'll give you an example. I like to give examples so that you can look at it from a different perspective. When you get a job and you get hired, they give you all this information, in the introduction classes, and they tell you what your title is going to be. They tell you how much you're going to get paid. They tell you when your benefits kick in, so on and so forth. Right? Okay. And they promise you that you work 2 weeks, you're going to get a paycheck. You work 8 hours, you're going to make this much amount of money per hour, minus the taxes and all that, you get a paycheck. Now, you trust that they're going to do what they say based on probably the reputation of the company, whether it's big, whether it's, well-known, the brand, whatever your trust lie on. But you become dependent on the consistency that the company shows you after you've worked it for some time, because every 2 weeks you can guarantee that they're going to either give you a physical check, make a direct deposit, however you get your paycheck, right? Okay. It's kind of the same concept. The difference between your job and relationships is that most people exercise a lot of emotion in regards to relationships, getting to know somebody. Emotions are the worst deciding factor when it comes to anything in the world of love, when it comes to relationships. Now, again, I'm sure there's some people on the other end of this saying, what? What do you mean? No, that's crazy. Like, I have to feel this way and blah, blah. Great. Like I said, my methods are a little different, and they're definitely unorthodox, but they're consistent and they work. When you're trying to figure out if you can trust a person, emotions really aren't a factor. What you want to see is what this person is consistent in. Just like I use a reference to a job, you get paid every 2 weeks, same thing, consistency. So I say give a person a year, because in that time frame, you have 4 seasons. You've got, hopefully spent enough time around this person on a consistent basis to where you can now take, consistent information over the year and look and see what they have shown you to where they can be trustworthy when it comes to, your prize, which is your heart. Anytime before that, I believe just firmly that you're setting yourself up for failure. Now, I'm sure that there's some people who are watching this right now and probably saying, well, no, that's not true. I had this guy that, it only took me 3 months to trust him, or 6 months to trust him, or 8 months to trust him. Well, if you heard what I said and you said you had and you don't have, then that means it's past tense. It's kind of irrelevant. It doesn't really matter because it didn't work. You want something that works. So you have to do something that's different. Don't necessarily be afraid to try different, because only different is going to get you results. So a year. I hope we got this. A year. That is the minimum, in my opinion, that you should be looking forward to, where you're not all in just yet, and how to build this thing we call trust. 2, you have to look at things that are in front of you. Pay attention to the signs. There's too many times that, most people are traveling down this road of getting to know someone, courting someone, talking to someone, and they miss the car accident on the side of the road, or, the bombs that are going off, because they're too busy leading with their heart and not their head. The only way that you're going to win in this game is if you learn that you have to balance out what you feel and what you think. And what you think should take precedence for quite some time over what you feel. That is my method, one of them. I truly believe that it'll give you better results than whatever everyone else is telling you and whatever you've probably been doing up to this point. You have to give yourself time. So ladies, take your time. Shoot for a year. If you can hold out, shoot for a year. Hold back. Give the young man, the gentleman, whoever, time to prove to you that he's worthy of your heart, your prize, all of you. If you leap and you jump in too soon, you might end up disappointed. Take your time. Pay attention to the signs. And we go from there. This is Daniel Rucker signing out of my first broadcast. I hope it was helpful. I could expound upon it, give some more insight, feedback, but I'm going to try to keep it short for this time. Like I said, contact me on Twitter at thatboyrucker, DATBOYRUCKER, with your feedback and so on. I can also be found on Instagram at Mr. Genuine. Talk to you soon.